Yarrdeharr, me hearties, and welcome to another command block tutorial. Today we're going to try out the teleporting bow, the teleportation bow, and the explosion bow. We're going to do two types of the teleportation bow and the explosion bow because they're pretty much the same thing. There's a very tiny difference in what's actually going on behind the scene. But the versions you have seen before or not seen before is the type that when it detects an arrow, it takes a little time and then it teleports you whether or not it hits the ground. What's unique with this version is that it actually has to hit the ground before it teleports you, and as soon as it hits the ground, it does. So that's a little bit, it's a preference. I'd like this version. There is another version that just takes the time and teleports you, so you can just teleport yourself straight up in the air, which you cannot do with the one that has to hit the ground. Now something that you have to note is that this only works in 14W02C and forward. Probably in forward. I can't actually guarantee that. And I was not going to say the F word. I was going to say a word in Swedish, which kind of sounds like that. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Smooth, JavaScripted, so smooth. But anyway, that's the teleporting device, and here is the explosion device. You may notice that I've actually tried it out before. What's really nice with this version compared to the other versions is that you can actually, let's go down, as you can see here, you can actually fire upwards and it will explode upwards. Oh wow, this is going well. The arrows are bouncing off the roof, but as you can see, you can actually explode your way upwards, which is something that didn't work before because the arrows did that. No, because the TNT was spawned where the arrow last was, or at the arrow, so it was very hard to actually do stuff like that and make the TNT stick right to the wall. But here it is actually, the arrow is technically exploding, so it has a very nice control of how you want to explode stuff, or teleport, of course, if you choose the teleporting version. I think this is the one that I like. Whee! When it hits the ground. So what's actually going on? What's going on is pretty much the same thing as in other people's teleportation / exploding arrows, is that we are testing for an entity of the type arrow. But what's new in here is that we are actually using data tags. We are testing for data tags, which is something I had no idea you could do. I found this on somewhere on YouTube. I can't remember where because I was so tired when I did it, or when I found it. So I can't remember. I don't. It's another command block YouTuber. I can't remember. If I remember, I'll put it in the description. I just don't remember where I heard this that you could do this. I did try this before myself. The difference is that I did this in ground 1. I did figure out the data tag and stuff and how you did this, but if we try this, it is actually not detecting the arrow that's in the ground. But you notice if we put in the B here, it will actually detect the arrow and teleport me. And it's really weird. I have no idea why it does that, but that is the test for command with the in-ground effect, or not effect, but it actually tests for when the arrow is in the ground. What we then do is that we teleport the player to the arrow. And here's what someone spotted out on the map making video where I had this first, or an older version of this, is that this is not multiplayer friendly. He actually said, how does this work in multiplayer if there are multiple people and they're shooting an arrow and you're just getting teleported away? That is because this does not work in multiplayer if you're more than one person. What you could do is that you could actually use a snowball for one player, but there is no in-ground effect for the snowball because it doesn't stick to the ground. And after we teleport the player to the arrow, we kill the arrow, because otherwise the arrow will stay and this will stay on, and we can only use it once, which would be boring. So I froze there. Sorry about that. The other version, where you just get teleported whether or not it hits the ground. So if I shoot straight up, I'll get teleported straight up into the air. You can actually see that it just detects the arrow and sets off a little bit of a timer. So here's the difference. We're not using the in-ground data tag. We're just testing for an arrow. And we let the delay go, and once that's done, we teleport the player to the arrow and then destroy the arrow. So that's so these two commands are the same on both versions, and these ones are pretty much the same, not much difference. And you can play around with the delay on this. You can add or remove to your liking so that it works best for you. Now the fun thing, the TNT arrow, it works the same. It won't go off until it actually hits something. I probably told you that already. Ooh, that far away. Nice. So yeah, you can hit stuff really far away or really close if you want to. Whoop! Okay, I picked it up. That's nice. You can pick up the arrow. So here we're doing the same thing as the teleporting, with testing for an arrow that's in the ground. What we're doing after that is that we're actually summoning a primed TNT. So could you stop that? So if oh yeah, it's going to hit. You will see a TNT right there. Let's do that. And there you go. You can see that the TNT is teleported or summoned, and then it's teleport. Can you shut up with the explosions? Oh, it's playing the sound effect of the summoned. Okay, that's cool. But we're teleporting the primed TNT, and it is the youngest TNT. And I'll explain that in a second. But we're teleporting that to an arrow, which is the oldest arrow. And the reason why we're using the youngest TNT and the oldest arrow is because we want this to be stable. So now it's really hard to pull off to actually shoot two arrows, but you can see that I actually managed to do that. That's amazing. I've never actually been able to do that before. Let's see if I can do it again. No, I can't. Okay, but as you saw, the first one exploded first and then the second exploded, and that's the reason why we're using the youngest TNT and the oldest arrow. So the first TNT goes to the first arrow, or the one that explodes first. So they explode in the order you shot them. And also so that you don't get both TNT at one place, which could also be annoying. And then finally we kill the arrow, so the arrow disappears and we can use it again. So a quick recap. We're pretty much done here, so all I want to do now is, if you're interested in the commands, I'm going to quickly go through them while saying goodbye, so you can just copy them. This is the first, the teleporting when it hits the ground. There we go. So I'm gonna thank you all for watching. and see if I can actually say goodbye while doing this. I'm gonna thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like. If you didn't, feel free to leave a dislike and tell me in the comment section below, and I shall see you next time.